Decentra-Lotto, a really interesting project. BSC had a fabulous launch from what we've seen, been following it for a while. Was in talks very early as well with you guys too. Just, it's really cool to see, where we were in those talks, thinking, how is this going to go? And then now, we're on an AMA and we get to learn so much more about it and present it to our investors. So I'm personally excited. Also, I want to tell you guys congratulations on a successful launch. That's really tough to do these days. We'll tell you, we see a lot of projects that don't, really do too well after their launch, but it's really a breath air to see this, and it's on BSC. So, I mean, without further ado, we have Celty on the call, the actual dev, if I'm not mistaken, right, of Decentra-Lotto.
That's me.
Awesome. Well, Celty, really to get us started, I like to learn a little bit more about the devs behind and the teams behind the project's background. So if you don't mind, and if you're comfortable with sharing, we'd love to learn a little bit personally about, your background a little more, maybe what, brought you to DeFi and how Decentra-Lotto was all incepted and how it came to fruition. Is that okay to start with?
That's okay. Yeah. I'll try to keep it short. There's a lot to get through there. But yeah, thanks for the intro, Taylor, and hello, Angels. Really, really appreciative of you having us here, and I really love what you're doing. And yeah, can't wait to share everything with you. So let me unpack all that. Where do I start? A little bit about the team first. So there's myself, Kelty. There's Lee, Jordan, Daniel, Dre, Remco, Liz, and Jay. All the teams is up on the website, decentra-lotto.com. So you can have a look at them there. So myself, I'm the lead developer. Believe it or not, I grew up on a farm in Ireland. Farming is kind of in my bones, but it's not my skill set, as you can probably tell. So look, I went into college, did English and philosophy actually. Moved into IT after that, did a HDip in IT, then got a master's. Went into industry as an integration engineer. And my master's was actually in games development. So I was kind of building cross-platform games in my spare time as I was going in industry. It was kind of like a hobby. I released a couple of games kind of as I was moving through my career, went from integration developer to software engineer to technical lead. I'm now managing a team of 10 developers in the day job. So after that, the whole way through I was kind of interested. I mean, when I was in college doing English and philosophy, I bought, that was probably about 10 years ago now, I bought Bitcoin. So I was always kind of interested in blockchain technology in general, and I just kind of kept that the whole way through as a hobby. I got into charting, doing a bit of TA, all that kind of stuff. Some of the folks in Decentra-Lotto would probably know that already. And then, I kind of started writing, got a bit deeper into DeFi then. I met up with Lee and Jordan, and their pro review website. They review kind of up and coming cryptos, that kind of thing. So I started writing with them, and really digging in technically into projects, not doing audits, but definitely vouching for the product security and that kind of side of things as well, using my technical background. That kind of progressed deeper into me actually porting my technical skill set over into releasing some tokens, started building out some applications, and Jordan, Lee, and myself kind of sat down together, and we had this idea for Decentra-Lotto, and that's kind of where we're at. In terms of the rest of the team, I won't go through all their background, but Lee's kind of on the operations side of things, operations / marketing. Jordan's the lead designer, so he does all our media, graphics, videos. In fairness, Lee does some as well, but Jordan's definitely leading up there. We have Daniel. He's kind of our community coordinator. We have obviously Dre. You know Dre. Marketing and strategy. Remco, tech support and marketing. So Remco's a scripting god. And then we have Liz, community coordinator, and Jay on finance. So that's a quick overview of the rest of the team.
Yeah, absolutely, very cool. And a strong team too. I will tell you, just coming out of traditional finance and working in other sectors, that's one thing I'm still really heavy on, right? It's like investing in the teams of projects or companies or whatever it may be, simply because I just personally think the teams are what scales companies truly and projects. So if you don't have a good team, the project never goes anywhere. So just looking at the website, which for folks listening on the call, it's Decentra /lotto.com. And very good stuff on there. It's pinned in our chat, so feel free to check that out and read a little bit more about it. But just want to congratulate you on building such a strong team and having those bios. Those are things that we look for. But again, onwards and forwards we go. And thank you for that introduction, Salty. Now I think I want the good part, right? I want to know more about the project. I want a high level review of what Decentra-Lotto is, what it's going to be, where it's going, what you're doing, the tokenomics, the whole 9 yards. Give it to me.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. So it was born of the idea of a raffle. So we wanted a high odds of winning rewards distribution model that was sustainable. And a raffle is the closest thing we could get to at the start. That's what the whole idea was born of. So if you look at the way it's structured now, we've got multiple winners, we've got staking options. So we've kind of stayed true to that original idea, but I suppose like all good ideas, you start with something simple and you layer on top. And that's how Decentra-Lotto was born, essentially. Lots and lots of iterations and brainstorm sessions and community feedback and that kind of thing. So look, without further ado, I'll go into how it all works. Basically, so there's a synergy between the DELO token and the lottery. Each one gives to the other. So the tokenomics of the token, we've got 1% burn on every transaction. That's a black hole burn, removed from the supply completely. We've got 1% reflections. I'm sure if you don't know what reflections are, it's 1% of every transaction is redistributed to all holders of the token based on how much they hold. We've got a 3% marketing fee, so we don't have to paint any red on the chart to fund any marketing. It happens automatically. And then we've got an 8% lotto fee on the token, and that is sent to the lotto jackpot. So I actually have an announcement on that part, but we'll leave that for a little bit. On the lotto side, then, so you've got the token feeding the lottery jackpot. The lottery jackpot is in the DELO token. People can come along and buy a ticket for the lottery. You can buy a ticket in BNB or any stable on Binance Smart Chain. I think it's DAI, USDT, USDC, or BUSD. Lottery tickets cost $10, but there's bulk buy discounts, 5% discount if you buy 5 tickets, 10% if you buy 10 tickets or more, and 20% if you buy 20 tickets or more. What happens with the lotto, this is where it really kicks off, and this is what feeds the whole ecosystem, is that as soon as someone buys a ticket in the dApp, which is live now, and I think the jackpot's over 40,000 at the minute. The first draw is tomorrow, actually. So that's going to be fun. But as soon as someone buys a ticket, the BNB or stable they spend on the ticket, the contract straight away converts it into DELO. So that's a buy on the chart. So every ticket is guaranteed buy pressure on the chart. And that's really a really important point to note. It means that it's guaranteed buy pressure. People are concerned that the lottery jackpot will create selling pressure. But what I say to them is that would you rather have potential selling pressure or guaranteed buying pressure? And for me, it's guaranteed buying pressure every time. It makes the most sense. So every ticket purchase is translated to is swapped to DELO by the contract, and that pumps the chart. Out of that ticket sale, then 10% of the DELO that's swapped into is airdropped back to the ticket purchaser. This is like a hedge. So if the DELO token does a 10x, their ticket sale was free. And we are in early stages. We're only at 2.3 million market cap, so like that's extremely possible, especially considering everything else we're doing. I haven't even talked about the ecosystem yet. We have so many more products apart from the lottery itself. I'll get into them after. But yeah, so 10% of every ticket purchase airdropped back to the ticket purchaser. 20% of every ticket purchase is rewarded to stakers. So we have staking. You stake the DELO token and you earn the DELO token. And you earn from ticket sales. So there's no minting on the DELO token. I could go on for ages about how much I dislike minting in general. It's inflationary to start with. There's more tokens dumped on the market than there was to start with. Any of those deflationary farms you see, you'll see the chart starts at 1 and it ends at minus 100. The chart ends up lower than where it started at, and that's because inflation is driving the price down because of the crazy high APYs they give in their smoke and mirror farms. We have a deflationary farm, so there's never any more tokens than there is right now, and every transaction that happens with the burn, there's less tokens in circulation all the time. So because and even if stakers sell all of their rewards, which is not probably the smartest thing to do, you should be compounding them, right? But even if stakers sell all those rewards, it means we're net even on the chart. Because in order for them to get those rewards, they were first bought on the chart from ticket sales. So the chart goes up, that rewards stakers, and say half the stakers sell, then the chart comes back 50% of what it went up. So we're still up. We've got a net positive result. And so that's really important to note about staking. It's a deflationary farm. There's not too many of them around. Other than that, we've got 10% of ticket sales are sent to a rollover wallet. We call this the mega draw. Every couple of draws, we're going to roll over an extra large amount into a draw and have a big mega draw. And we'll market the hell out of it. And that's going to be a lot of fun when we start them. And finally, 10% of the jackpot is added to liquidity of the DELO token. So this is where the synergy, you can really see it coming in, that the lottery is expanding the liquidity pool of the token. So the lottery creates buy pressure, it rewards stakers, it expands the liquidity of the token, and then the token obviously pumps the jackpot, and that pumps ticket sales, and then that gives back to stakers and gives back to the chart and all the rest. So it's one big synergy. Whew. I think that's pretty much the overview.
Yeah, no, you did good. I didn't want to chime in. So great. So obviously I love the low fees on BSC, man. Good job on that one. I know most of us are Ethereum centric, so when we do come across a, you know, BSC play that we can actually, you know, connect with them and trust, it really means the world to us. So happy that you're here. Hey, so let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about, you know, just the project in general. So in terms of scaling and streams of revenue, that's something that everybody knows if they listen to our AMAs that I'm huge on. So obviously, like creating this, how does the team actually make money in this process, and does that also feed back maybe to the project that well itself in terms of like the liquidity pool? How does all the finances work, and how does the allocation of money work is a better way to ask that question.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. So there's 15% of the supply was allocated to team tokens, and they've been locked. The idea there is that the team, once they unlock, will all stake, um, and then we've got a passive income set up personally. We've also got development or upkeep allocation of the initial supply. Some of that is currently staking, a very small percentage of it. But the idea of that is it's going to gain reflections. It's going to set up that passive income. It's going to also fund exchange listings, additional liquidity where needed, all that kind of thing. And that's within the lotto itself. However, the lotto is not going to be our only revenue stream. The lotto is the first of many. I was going to say planned utilities, but many of them are 80-90% completed. So we've got NFTs coming. The artist has been working on them for probably 3 months now, 2 months, I'd say anyway. And they are sick. There's some screens of those knocking around. There's some gifs, there's some teasers, but wait till you see them, they're unreal. So we've got the NFTs. The NFTs will have utility. I'm not announcing what that is yet. We've got the piece de resistance. We've got a game. So you probably remember I said earlier that I did a master's in game development. So I've been building a game for 2 years, believe it or not, as a separate project. It's a Steam game. It's not released yet, though it is in early alpha. It's a roguelike strategy game. I don't know if you've ever played Slay the Spire, Hearthstone, those kind of things. It's kind of like Slay the Spire meets Hearthstone. Um, so it's very, very far advanced. It's going to be a play to earn model, but that's the piece that's missing from it. The rest of the game is very, very, very much progressed. So it's going to be a separate revenue stream for us. We've also got a casino on the roadmap. So we've got additional lottery games. I shouldn't say lottery games. It'll be a separate product, but obviously related to the lottery. We've got a swap. I forgot the wallet. We've got a wallet that's a mobile app wallet that's about 95% completed. It's built and functional, but it's missing our branding, and it needs some integration points for the lottery, ticket sales, all of that end of things will be integrated into it. So we've got lots of different things coming, and they're not all talk. They're actively there and being worked on. In terms of the lotto itself, we've got a very strong roadmap there, and we're focusing on. I mean, for the short term, I'm hyper focused on lotto development because it's our first utility. It's done really well, and it's got a lot more value to give. Some of the things we're looking at there is lotto syndicates. So a syndicate at the minute, I think gas to buy a lottery ticket's maybe like $8, $9. So for the guys who are buying one lotto ticket worth $10, that might be a little bit inaccessible to them. Syndicates will fix that. It'll give a lower gas, lower risk, lower reward entry to the lotto. So that's going to be great. That'll be all built on platform. After the syndicates, we're looking at lotto subscriptions. So you can buy X tickets for the next Y lotteries. So if I want to buy 5 tickets in the next 10 lottery draws, I can do it in a single transaction. To lock in that, consistent, secure growth over time for the lotto. And then we've also got governance that we're looking at specifically. So it built into the lottery, people can change the draw length. So you could have daily draws instead of weekly draws, and that'll be built into a governance model. And we do have experience building out a DAO. We've built one out before, and it worked really well. Look, there's lots coming as well. I'm looking at, for syndicates, self-governed syndicates. So they can, anyone could go and set up a syndicate that can govern itself. These are just some things that we're thinking about. Some of them are in development. We've got so many ideas, man. It's just, there's so much coming. I could talk for days about it.
And I love talking for days about it because the ideas are becoming execution. It sounds like you mentioned that, 98% or so, something that it's already completed, right? So
the wallet, yeah,
it's an idea at that point. It's becoming an asset or a tool or a part of the project, in my opinion. Correct?
Absolutely, yeah. They're there. But as I said, like we're not forgetting the lotto by any manner or means. We're hyper focused on getting the lotto set up, getting the governance model in, getting that self-sufficient, and then we can really shift our attention, our development attention, I should say, to the other products while marketing continues on the lottery and the other side of things, getting listings and all the rest.
Right on. So let's talk more about Lotto, quote unquote, because there's been other projects that we've done and looked at. I wouldn't say done, but looked at, vetted out, participated in. And, it's always around some sort of gambling, a lotto. And so the first question that normally comes up, I just want to nip it right now. What are the legalities around things like this, right? Like, is there any? Is it the Wild Wild West, or how is this? I guess it's not regulated. I guess my question is it legal, and how?
Yeah, look, we're in a gray area in crypto because we're not transacting in fiat. So there's not much regulation out there yet, to be completely honest. However, we have made moves to license it. And that's something we're actively participating in with solicitor. And look, I don't want to say too much more about it, but that end of things. But we are looking at licensing, and we are in talks and investigating different jurisdictions and what they'll mean for the long-term success of the lottery.
That's really good that you're taking those steps and having those conversations. I get it that we're in a gray area. Hell, I even came from a really gray area, being in the pioneering stages of the cannabis sector. It was all gray, and really it matured over time, and was globally accepted. And obviously I wouldn't say globally, but state by state and so forth. I think crypto is on a faster pace, and that's why I'm here in DeFi and in crypto. So the fact that you're already having those conversations is great. Now, just to confirm, have you spoke to legal counsel or lawyers or anything around this and have that set up as well for a just in case moment?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, good. Well, that's awesome. So moving forward, the audit by CertiK, that's a big one, right? I know that we've put you guys through safe solidity, made introductions, but you're really taking extra steps to solidify the project and really button it up with that authoritative check mark, I would call it, from CertiK. So can you tell us maybe a little bit more about that process right now and how it's going in a timeline if they've given you one?
Yeah. So security is really, really important to us. We've kind of gone against the grain. BSC has a bad name in terms of security and rug pulls and everything. We're extremely against this, and we can see the benefits of the BSC network, and we're trying to break that view of BSC in general. And CertiK is one of the steps we've taken towards that. So we're twice audited. We're audited by Solidity.finance and we're audited by CertiK. We also have Skynet enabled. So CertiK has fully AI on-chain monitoring happening all the time. And you can see if you go on there yourself, certik.org/decentra. You can see the governance. You can see the different transactions that are happening, any privileged transactions that are happening. So it's really monitoring everything, and it gives you that security score, and it gives investors that confidence that nothing shady is happening behind the scenes. It's a step further than just an audit, because an audit can throw things up as being potential gaps or potential holes, but if the team is solid and the team is sound, and by the way, our audit was cleaner than PancakeSwap's audit. We have less vulnerabilities and lower priority vulnerabilities than them, which was pretty cool. But yeah, look, security is something we take really seriously. We have that Skynet running on the DELO token 24/7, so you can go in there, you can check it out. They've got some cool other stuff as well in Skynet, like the words, it's gone blank. It's the sentiment analysis. There we go, and that kind of thing running. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We've also got the lottery and the staking audits by Solidity Finance, and CertiK is looking at them at the minute as well. Actually, we're engaging with them on a few things, like how to reduce the gas cost any further on the lottery, and looking at optimizing the staking as well. And they've actually set up a second listing for us on the certik.org Decentra-2. You may have spotted it, and that's where we're going to be getting in extra contracts, and we're really going to be expanding the ecosystem and be working with CertiK long term. We're working directly with Larry Lundy, who's the head of he was head of business development, but I think he's got multiple development teams under him now.
That's really cool. I mean, you guys have so much going on, and now I just want to backtrack just a little bit, because earlier you mentioned ecosystem. And so if you know me, again, I talk about ecosystem with the DeFi Angels and our ecosystem and the way that we roll that out. So just looking at yours, and first, before I even go into it, whoever did your website, if they're on the call here, hey, you guys are amazing. Guys or gals are amazing at doing design, because this is one of the most put together web pages, websites that I've personally ever seen in the space. So props to you there. I'm giving you flowers. You're welcome.
You can thank Jordan for that. He's great at the design side of things. He's brilliant.
Jordan is base. Good job, Jordan. Good stuff.
Yeah, he is. He's a good guy.
Look, I'm looking at the whole ecosystem right now. I mean, you got Decentra-Lotto, Decentra Wallet, the swap, NFTs, tokens, casino, gaming, governance. So with all this coming in together in one ecosystem, first off, are you the first to market doing this? And then second off, what would be a timeline overall to complete all of this ecosystem? What would you say?
Oh, timeline overall. Well, first to market, first of all, there's other tokens. There's other tokens out there that are trying to build ecosystems, but none of them are are as advanced as ours is in terms of development work and execution. To my knowledge, if anyone finds one, please let me know. I'd love to have a look at them and see what they're doing there. But in terms of timelines, look, it's going to be impossible to give you a timeline for everything. But as I said, NFTs have been in progress for a couple of months. You're going to see something happening this side of Christmas on the NFTs. In terms of Decentra-Lotto, I'd be hoping to it development wise to be moving off Decentra-Lotto and moving onto the game this side of Christmas. And when I say moving off Decentra-Lotto, I mean me personally. I'll be handing over enhancements, fixes, and updates to another dev. I'm engaging with some contractors on that side of thing and trying to get some of them in on board for that piece. Gaming, we're realistically we're talking would be if we're launching a token for the game. I say if when we launch the token for the game, it'll be roughly Q1, and the game should follow Q2. Q2, Q3. Don't tie me to these timelines. This is off the top of my head. We've, as I said, we're hyper focused on the lotto at the minute, and then somewhere in the middle of all of that, the wallet will drop. So you're talking by Q2, Q3 next year. We're gonna be about 60% of the way, 70% of the way through the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's really cool too, because essentially when I look at this, you're becoming a monopoly in a way. And I love that. I mean, from casino tokens, NFTs are huge. I take it that you're beefing up the presence in the Discord to attract them as well, that demographic at least.
Yes, we're actually engaging with a Discord marketing group who specialize in Discord marketing, and we're doing that behind the scenes as well. So you'll know soon when that's going to drop. But it'll drop with a bang.
Right on. Yeah, very cool. This is really exciting stuff. I want to pause for a minute. I want to hold off. I tend to get going and ask so many questions, and some folks, I want to give the opportunity to ask you questions. So I'm gonna come up with more. I know it. I do all the time. Salty, like I'll come back and be like, hey, what about this? What about this? But for now, if you don't mind, I'd like to pass it over to my core team and our deal flow committee that are unmuted on the call. I've seen a couple questions come in my DMs. I'm going to get to those. But for now, if you guys want to start asking questions, would be really appreciated. Shoot for the stars.
Okay, I'll start again. I have been looking about the lotto as a good gambler. I like to know my odds. And it seems that we have a very high odds to win the lottery. So normally when you see a lottery, first your jackpot wallet is funded in a very smart way to get the amount of money that will be distributed. But I don't know, it seems almost too good to get real. Um, so with just the amount of people who applied at the moment with 1,072 tickets sold, we are able to win the jackpot that will end tomorrow. Am I reading it correctly?
Yep, 100% so far. Yeah.
Okay, so at the moment the odds are better and bigger than any lottos that I know on crypto at the moment.
Yes.
So I don't know. You should advertise this a lot more. This is amazing. So I will start to buy some tickets. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's going back to our roots, starting as a raffle. So a raffle has vastly better odds than a lotto, a traditional lottery. which is like, what's the traditional lottery? Like 1 in a million, or 1 in a million,
Yeah.
something like that.
386 million.
386 million. Wow. So like that's crazy. We wanted something that captured the essence of DeFi, which is not 1 in 360 million, but 1 in 144 is the odds at the minute for each ticket. So you do the maths on that. If you buy 20 tickets, 20 into 144 is your odds of winning. And before you buy the ticket in the dApp, you can actually see the odds that number of tickets will get you. So if you go into the dApp at the minute, onto the lottery, and choose a number of tickets, if you're on desktop, in between the tickets on the left and the B&B select the token selector on the right, in that buy panel, you can see the odds that number of tickets is going to get you. So if you buy 20, if you put 20 in that box, you can see exactly. Well, let me do it right now. What's 20 tickets? This will only take a second. I have it open here in front of me. So right now, 20 tickets gives you an 11.988% chance of winning. So it's rounded up 12%. 20 tickets gives you 12% chance to win something. The way the jackpot actually works is that so right now there's 12 winners, and that's dynamic based on how large the jackpot is. If the jackpot was double that, there'd be not double winners, but there'd be a lot more winners. So the odds are always getting better. Not getting better, but they're the more tickets that are in it, the higher the jackpot is, and then the more winners there are. So it all kind of counterbalances. The way that actually works is that the jackpot right now is 1.5 million DELO. If you were to swap that for BUSD on PancakeSwap, that's 38,000. So the winner number 1 is going to walk away with half of that, half of 38,000. Winner number 2 will walk away with half of what's left. Winner number 3 will walk away with half of what's left. Winner number 4 will walk away with half of what's left, so on and so forth, until what's left is less than the price of a ticket. So winner number 12 will get somewhere between $10 and $20. So they'll get the price of their ticket back. But yeah, winner number 1 walks away with half the jackpot, and that means that we're sharing that wealth as much as we can, and it increases the odds of every ticket to win something.
How do you pick the winner on those? Is that a random number distribution?
I'm really glad you asked that. We have an integration with Chainlink. So Chainlink VRF, so when the draw ends, when the timer is up on the draw, at the minute there's 21 hours, 15 minutes and 10 seconds left until the draw ends. Once that timer passes, the enter draw panel will be replaced with 2 buttons. One button to end the draw, and another button to draw the winners. And anyone can press those buttons. It is decentralized after all. So if you press end draw, what happens is the contract calls out to Chainlink. Chainlink gets a verifiably random number. It's called Chainlink VRF. We have a Medium post on it on our Medium. You can find that in the link tree. I'm sure someone will stick it in the chat there. But obviously Chainlink is an oracle. It's really trusted. It's industry standard. Chainlink will send a random number back to the contract. And once that's done, then the draw winners button will be enabled. And once someone presses that, it uses that random number to draw the winners. And it draws each winner in order.
Gotcha. I guess my confusion is between the raffle versus the lottery, because you said raffle earlier, and raffle's obviously a raffle, right? It's not a random number distribution, and someone picks it, right?
Well, in a raffle, someone picks the name out of a hat. And that's kind of how this is working. Except we're using Chainlink's random number to pick a name out of to pick a ticket out of the ticket spot. So it is a lotto, but it is functioning quite like a raffle in that regard.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for the question. Happy to take any more.
Oh, they're coming. Don't worry.
I have a few announcements, by the way, so we'll probably do a few more questions first, but
Yeah, I think it's good to let us ask our questions, and then right before I'd say we part ways to make do some more due diligence between our group. Before that point, I'll tell you, hey, now's a good time to really say what you need to say, because I know one of them and I'm bullish, so I can't wait to hear it all. But anyhow, I know one of our members was unmuting RL. She has a question coming up, so if you want to go ahead and answer that, here it is.
Thank you. You were talking about Taylor had asked a question about the legalities, and you it sounded like you had already started to do some work there. Is your solicitor that's a lawyer in your country, I'm assuming, right?
yes.
Is he familiar with international law and how that could operate? And I know in the States, the lotto law is different even from state to state, let alone on an international basis. So is he in touch with folks from other countries to kind of see how all of that plays out?
Yeah, we're talking to an international law firm, actually, and they specialize in cryptocurrency. And we've done a lot of research ourselves into different jurisdictions and what their licensing laws allow and what they don't allow. So, for example, if you incorporate and have your lotto in Malta, which is very popular for cryptocurrency companies because they're nice on tax there, but their license doesn't give you a lot of jurisdictions for cost. It's not great value. So there's other jurisdictions which are nice. There's Gibraltar, Curacao, Comoros, and a number of different jurisdictions that we're looking into. And yeah, we're talking to an international firm for advice on that.
Okay, and so I'm assuming you mentioned tax. They're looking at tax consequences as well.
Yeah, well, the lottery, we're in a gray area because all of these licenses assume that the lottery generates income, but ours doesn't. So because what I was saying before about ticket sales, the ticket sales are rewarded to stakers. It goes into a mega draw wallet for a rollover. They're adding to liquidity of the token, and they're airdropped back to ticket purchasers. So none of that is allocated to team. So it's another gray area because we're not profiting off ticket sales, and that's what all of the licenses assume you are doing.
And what about the consequences for winners? Are they looking into that as well?
Yeah, well, there's winners won't be liable.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for the question, ARL.
Hi, I got a question for you. I was wondering about the staking. I know that the APR is variable depending on who buys and how many tokens, tickets, not tokens, how many tokens are sold. But I was wondering if while you're staked, if a lot of token, if you're staked, you're not going to be getting reflections. So I was wondering if you also get reflections while you're staked.
You do not. And so the when you stake, you lock the tokens into the staking contract. You can withdraw them at any time. I shouldn't say lock because we're not that kind of staking farm. You can enter and withdraw anytime you please, and there's only a 2% withdrawal fee, and there's no entrance fee, so it's very, very nominal in terms of fees. Yeah, no, sorry, I lost myself going into the withdrawal fees. Could you just repeat that question again? Apologies.
Oh, no problem. I was just wondering about, because I know that while you're staking, you're obviously getting the staking, you're getting more coins because you're staking, and that's based on the lottery.
Yes.
Which you get from the lottery. But I didn't know if that you also might get reflections in with the staking from the lottery, like transactions.
Yeah. So it's the whole point is that it's offering options and choices for people to engage according to their own risk reward appetite. So if you look at the token and look at the volume on the token, the volume is going to determine the amount of reflections you get, because the reflections happen on every transaction. And then if you look at ticket sales, so you see there's 1,762 tickets sold in the lottery at the minute. 20% of ticket sales go to stakers' rewards. You can look in the staking, you can see that there's $83,000 of DELO locked in the staking at the minute. So from my maths at the minute, staking is far more profitable than the reflections right now. But again, it's about options. That might not always be the case, because maybe we get listed on an exchange that supports our reflections. Volume will go through the roof, and then all of a sudden reflections are going to pop off, and then you can make the decision then to withdraw your stake. It's important to note as well that you don't have to stake everything. You could stake half and hold half, so you get some reflections, you get some staking rewards, and you can do your own analysis then on what's best for you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Kelty, hi.
Hi.
Hey, I was just wondering, hey, real quick, first, what was your concentration in philosophy?
Yeah, I actually love philosophy of religion, believe it or not. Playing into the stereotype.
I'm a Frankfurt School guy, Adorno and Horkheimer. But
very good.
I did have a question. So have you guys modeled out the tokenomics as liquidity keeps increasing, volume keeps increasing, and the burn rate theoretically keeps increasing?
Yeah.
What happens to the price model, basically, is what I'm wondering as it goes out.
Yeah, I mean, like it's good, is the short answer. So as the burn keeps going, the circulating supply drops, the volume, the price of the token increases. If when volume picks up, that's going to pump the lottery. The lottery is going to be more enticing for ticket sales, and that's going to expand the liquidity pool, which will make the token even more attractive to larger investors, which will increase volume again, and the whole thing snowballs. It gets crazy with volume.
Crazy with volume. That's a good tagline.
Yeah, it does. It pops off. It absolutely pops off. Yeah.
So it doesn't result in frozen price somewhere way down the road. Then there's still price action.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what the lottery brings, because
right.
As long as there's a jackpot, there's going to be ticket sales, and ticket sales are going to continuously affect the chart.
Right.
So yeah, it definitely. And look, if it's a thing that the burn rate gets out of control with crazy volume, that can be switched off.
So that leads to my second question, actually. Which variables of the contract do you keep control over, and which are locked?
Yeah, so we can control the reflection, burn rate, marketing, and lottery allocation within reason. So you'll see in the audits that we can't, for example, set marketing any higher than 5 5%. I think it was 5% now off the top
Mhm.
of my head.
Okay.
But there's some checks in there that to give investor confidence that we're not going to go crazy with any of those figures.
Right.
However, we are looking at a DAO to potentially control those figures, and
Mhm.
that's something we've built before, and something we can do again for this project if the demand is there for it.
Good. Right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, David.
You're up here just knocking questions out the park. I love it. This is
They've been good
amazing.
questions.
Yeah. We generally, we don't shoot from the hip. We like to do our due diligence and really dive in on these AMAs and ask the right questions. With that being said, anybody on our core team, DILFO committee, have any more questions at this point?
I do. I wanted to ask about the phase 3 or cycle 3. I don't know how far you can go into the subscription service that you will offer. And then also for cycle 2, I wanted to know some more information on your guerrilla marketing campaign. Is that like something that your team is going to do, or are you going to outsource that? How exactly is that going to work?
Yeah. So subscriptions first. I mentioned them briefly earlier. What we're planning on doing for subscriptions is setting up a model so that people don't have to constantly engage with the dApp to buy tickets. What we found through previous projects and through our experience is that if you get someone engaging in the dApp, you need to maximize that engagement right then and there, because engagement drops off after the first touch. So the first touch is so important. So that's why subscriptions were born, because if someone engages with the lottery, we want them to have the option to engage in the lottery once and not have to look at it again for 1-2 months, because they're entered into every draw for the next 2 months, and they've staked all their holdings, and they can just continuously gain the rewards there, and be safe in the knowledge that they're entered into the next 8 draws or whatever. So that's why subscriptions was born. Then the guerrilla marketing, that is Remco. So he's great at this. Remco was actually a graffiti artist in a different life. So yeah, he has some superb ideas there. I'm not going to go into them, because the whole point of that area of marketing is the wow effect when it drops. But look, I've already given you hints based on Remco's background, so yeah, we're really excited for that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kay.
Very good. I think we're all over here just drum rolling for some announcements, but I don't want to get the cart before the horse now. So if anybody does have any questions, feel free to ask them here. If you're muted, feel free to type them in the chat. I know the Decentra-Lotto team is ready to answer your questions as well. And then if you just are not comfortable maybe speaking on their call, feel free to ping myself or one of our team mates here with the Angels, and we certainly don't mind asking those questions for you. So now just give it I'd say another 10, 15 seconds or so. If anybody does have any questions, please speak now, or forever hold your peace until we get to these announcements. I feel like I'm going to have to put a countdown up, or maybe we are good. No questions, anybody?
No, Buzzy to buy BNB to buy tickets.
I love you, JP. Okay, Celty, lay it on us. Lay it on.
Yeah.
Tell me
Oh man,
good stuff.
I can't wait for this. So, look, I've been chatting with Taylor a good few times over the last while, and we understand that you angels are primarily coming from the ETH side of things, as did we, and getting funds over to BSC from ETH is an absolute pain in the ass. If I'm being honest, you have to use the Binance Bridge and get them over, and then yeah, it's a pain. So we've made that easier for you. So we partnered with Rubik. Rubik are a cross-chain exchange. They're a bridge and a swap all in one. And if you go on to the dApp right now, app.decentra-lotto.com, you'll see the exchange tab. I'm sure someone will link it in the chat there as I'm talking. In there, you'll see the Rubik widget will load, and you'll see a little connect button on the widget. If you connect up there, make sure your MetaMask is on your Ethereum network, and then you'll actually be able to swap directly from ETH on ERC20 to DELO on BSC. So there's no bridging needed. You can you can swap straight across from ETH to DELO, and there's no barrier to entry for any of your community who might be predominantly on the ETH side. The only thing you'll have to do is add the BSC network to your MetaMask, so you'll be able to see your tokens. But you don't even have to. Actually, you will have to do that. But if you click the connect button on the dApp, it'll actually prompt you to automatically add that network as well. So you don't even have to go and research how to add it. Yeah, really, the dApp is a one-stop shop for any of your ETH folks. So on the back of that, we have an announcement that we've partnered with Rubik, not just to get their widget in the dApp and make it easier for you folks to swap from ETH to BSC, but we've also partnered with them for a trading competition. And the announcement is just here right now. I'm going to forward it into Angels. Drop this second. So there's a $19,000 pot for the trading competition. We've donated $2,000 worth of DELO and 50 lottery tickets. There's also 3 other tokens that have donated into this trading competition. So it's a full partnership with Rubik and their other partners. You to participate, give the medium a read, and you'll see the rules. But I think it needs to be $5,000 volume per swap to qualify. So yeah, we'd love to see you get involved. I think it's really cool. And we have a second announcement. So right now on the token, at the start of this AMA, on the token, the transaction tax was 13%. But in light of the trading competition, we thought this might be a little bit harsh to your community, and to the angels for trying to participate and getting 13% tax as they're trying to trade DELO. So we've reduced the tax on the token for everyone from 13% down to 8% during this AMA. This is also the first of a number of different moves we're going to make for a centralized exchange listing. And as our volume picks up, we'll be making some other strategic moves there as well. But yeah, so transaction tax down to 8% now, which is on the lower side of average for BSC. there's a trading competition happening right now. So best of luck, everyone.
I think we're all running to that dApp and trying to like buy right now, because I am. So funny. Love it.
Great, yeah. So no, look, we're absolutely delighted, and we love the Angels. We're not just saying that lightly. And yeah, we know all you folks are on ETH, and we want to make that transition for you as easy as possible. And this is it. You know, you have the potential there to win in the trading competition, and the tax has been reduced on token transactions. So yeah, best of luck, everyone. I'll be following along, and I hope some of you win.
You guys did such a great job.
Thank you. I'm not sure who that was, but really appreciate you saying that. Was that Jess?
Yes, hi.
Hi, thanks, Jess.
Phenomenal job. I'm so glad you did this AMA for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, look, we're just delighted that you've had us. It's been a really great opportunity to speak with you all, and superb questions. I've really enjoyed it.
Us as well. I'm sorry I'm so quiet. I'm literally over here on the dApp and buying and doing that. Normally I'm all in on this call, but I'm sold, my friend, and I was before. I've watched this thing since the beginning. We've been in talks before the project was even launched, and just being able to sit on the sideline and looking back to the conversations that we had prior to the launch, and that big ambition and all the things that were told to us, and seeing it now being executed, I'm bullish, my friend. And again, congratulations on this. Really exciting stuff, but I'm not going to beat a dead horse here and tell you that you're great, because you know it. And this is a great project. And thank you for coming on and sharing it with us.
Thanks, Taylor. And thanks to everyone for your questions, and thanks to the whole Angels community for having us. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And yeah, at this point, we'll hop in a chat. I know the Angels will, and I'll discuss this internally. But, in closing, just in case anybody has a statement or anybody, wants to follow up here with Celty about those announcements, this would be the time to do so with any final questions or congratulations, that is.
Congratulations. And how can we follow you on social media? What's your
absolutely. I actually just souped up the link tree today. So there it is. If you go in there, you scroll down to community and social media. That's all the links in there. And I'll just drop the Telegram link in as well. Come join the community, say hi. We'd love to have you.
I can speak. I've been trying to speak for a little while.
Jordan.
probably not a good time for me to start talking, because people get bored very quick, very fast. But thanks for having us, guys. You can all join us on our Telegram group. We have a lot of voice chats constantly throughout. So if there's any other questions that you do want to ask, then jump in, ask us anything you want. We might not all be as good as answering the questions as much as Kelly, but we do try. And if you need us, we're over there. But thanks for having us.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you both for coming on. And Celty, great job at highlighting the project and just a wonderful AMA overall. We'll be sure to, obviously this is being recorded. Once we're able to get that recording, compress it, and get it into a graphic, we'll be posting that to our Twitter and sharing it with your community. And we encourage the same. Just share that around so everybody can hear what a great job you've done. I think that this kind of content was well put together, and that it's going to explain the vision for DELO for months to come, given everything that we've covered tonight. So thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah. And thank you. We'll be sharing those 100%.
Oh, perfect. Well, at this point, that concludes our AMA. Okay, if you want to kill the recording, then we can move forward. Thank you guys so much. And thank you everybody for listening.